I am not the charm and good looks candidate in this race, as though that needed to be said, right? The reason I'm in this race is to say some things that are going to make people uncomfortable, and apologies in advance if there's anything that I say that makes you uncomfortable. Indeed, if you walk away from our chat today thinking, you know, your day is going to be better, it's warm and fuzzy, and all of the spring flowers are going to smell better than yesterday, you and I are not communicating. Our government is going in the wrong direction. It's going in the wrong direction hard and fast. The reason we have such a big opportunity in 2024 is for this reason. And because we have an opportunity in very specific ways, it plays right into our hands. More Americans than ever before are recognizing that many of the problems we have in the United States are the result of bad public policy. People understand that while our economy looks a lot like the 1970s and 80s, some of you youngsters will have to ask some people at your table with gray hair about what I'm talking about. The big difference is that people don't trust our democratic institutions quite the way that they used to. That's not our fault, right? That's because your government operates in a way that is not trustworthy and that is finally coming to light to be so. Much of what I talk about includes hard-edged reform. I was a police officer for 11 and a half years. I spent a lot of time talking about criminal justice reform. I worked in Washington for 20 years, and I spent a lot of time talking about monetary policy and fiscal policy until your eyes will glaze over, right? But here's the bottom line. We need to develop a platform, what I'm running on, we call the Gold New Deal. You can learn about it over at the desk. We need to run with a platform that cuts hard edges against the Democrats and hard edges against the Republicans both. We need to deliver a message that is memorable, that distinguishes us from the other parties. It's our opportunity to reach people in a way that we have not reached before because people are so sick and tired of not only the duopoly, but the way our government runs. But it's not merely an opportunity for us. I believe that this is an obligation. We don't have a tremendous period of time between now and the time that our government will have headed too far in the wrong direction irretrievably. By the end of this century, our federal government will be fiscally irretrievable. We run the risk the most important democracy in the history of the world will eventually fail from a government financial point of view. We run the risk that we'll get so far away from the Constitution that we won't recognize the reason our Constitution was put together in the first place. Remember that we, as libertarians, we are the philosophical descendants of the people that founded this country, and for only one good reason. That's to protect our individual liberty. Do you think if we don't stand up for it, a Democrat will? Do you think a Democrat will stand up for your Second Amendment rights, your First Amendment rights? No, of course not. Will a Republican go out there and talk about how important it is to pull back the projection of military power around the world for no other reason than to protect our hegemony? No, no one is going to say that if we don't say that. It's up to us to say that. Now look, we have, how many people in the room today? 40 or 50, right? This is terrific. Multiply that by 50. A couple of thousand people at conventions all around the United States representing the Libertarian Party. This is not a large number of people. It's time for everyone to pick up a shovel. This is the way that I'm picking up a shovel, because I believe that we can distinguish our party from the other parties. But we need to do so by leading a hard-edged, policy-based campaign. We need to back it up with a professional team. I'm already putting together a professional team already. And we need to back it up, to be honest, with a candidate with a background in public service and public policy, because that's what the American people expect in a campaign and in a candidate, to get the deference that we need from the media, from donors, and from the American voters. This is the way I believe the campaign has to be run, and it's not just because of a great opportunity we have. This is our call of duty. This is important. This is where we need to start making a difference. We need to do it today. Thanks a lot.